Host Michael Jordan talks with a man who played quarterback with the fearless abandon of a daredevil and the cool poise of a gunfighter. His athletic skill and competitive spirit inspired his teams to victory in 2 Super Bowls. His name, Roger Staubach.
You were a great all-around athlete in high school, and you received a lot of scholarship offers. But what made you finally decide to go to the Naval Academy?
You know, I look back, and I didn't have an interest in the service schools. I just knew about them. There was TV shows about them. I think the Annapolis story was on TV, and they had a coach that came. He was really recruiting our center and our football team. Our center and myself were co-captains of our high school, and he was interested in the Naval Academy. And Coach Rick Frazano came and recruited him, was watching the film, and said, "Hey, you got a wild-looking quarterback out there." I was a running quarterback. He didn't see me throw very much. So he said, he told our coach, "See if you can get him out of class and come down." So I went down and talked to Rick Frazano, and he started talking about the Naval Academy. He said, "I at least want you to come up there to visit. When you graduate, we're going to give you a battleship." I'm still waiting for my battleship, by the way. I've never got my battleship.
Roger Staubach entered the Naval Academy in 1961. The following year, he unveiled his reckless, daring approach to the game as the starting quarterback. In his junior season, Roger led Navy to a 9-1 record. In the Army-Navy game that year, Staubach stole the show by running for 1 touchdown and throwing for 2 more in a 21-15 win. He also received the Heisman Trophy Award, and following the end of his career, he signed a contract with the Dallas Cowboys.
Roger, after graduating from the Academy in 1965, what expectations did you have about your career in pro football?
Well, when I graduated, 4 years seemed like an eternity, and I really didn't think I'd play again. You know, you're young, and all of a sudden you realize that, you know, life goes by pretty fast. You know, looking back on it, it goes by real fast. But those 4 years just seemed like a long time. But I had a really good college all-star game. Everything, I felt it was my last game, and the scouts were there, and they said, "Hey, this guy can run, but he also's got I had a good arm. I threw the ball well in college, but I was more looked as a running quarterback, even though I had a lot of passing." And they said that, well, he does have a professional arm, and that's both teams that drafted me, Kansas City and Dallas.
During your first 2 years, you played behind Craig Morton. When did you get your chance to take over?
Well, the ironic thing, Craig hurt his finger in the preseason, and I played against the finished the game against the New York Jets and had a real good game, and then played Baltimore, my first starting job, an exhibition game, and I ran for 120 yards rushing, and Bubba Smith chased me all over the field, but I threw 4 interceptions. So I was a freaked out running quarterback out there, and everybody, Landry said, "Well, Roger, we have to go in the regular season." Craig was going to be out another week. And I remember they asked him, "Well, what do you expect?" And he said, "I don't know what to expect. He's got the physical talent, but we don't know what he's going to do." And I started against the St. Louis Cardinals. I stayed in the pocket. I threw the ball, and we beat St. Louis. But Craig came back and finished up that year. And the next year, he was hurt going into this regular season. I started again the first 2 games of the year, and he finished up the season. But my 3rd year, he and I went into camp as the starting quarterbacks, actually 2 starting quarterbacks. We literally both alternated games at the beginning of the year, which did not work out, and it was the middle of the 3rd year that I started, that I was announced I was a starting quarterback.
When Craig Morton gave way to Roger Staubach, the Cowboys were a 4-3 team in need of a leader.
Fakes to Calvin, back to throw, lost on the left side, it's caught by Hill at the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown!
Staubach's entrance into the lineup gave Dallas exactly what they were looking for, as he completed 60% of his passes and threw for 15 touchdowns. Along the way, he and flanker Bob Hayes developed a knack for coming up with the big plays as Dallas won 7 straight games.
Deep down there's Hayes, and he's got it.
Rogers' magic touch continued in the playoffs against Minnesota, as this touchdown pass sealed a 20-12 win, which advanced Dallas to the NFC title game. There, the Cowboys did away with the San Francisco 49ers and earned the right to meet Miami in the Super Bowl.
There you were playing in the biggest game of all and not even playing a complete NFL season. Were you nervous?
Well, I had been through a couple Army-Navy games, Michael. So, we used to have 107,000 up there in Philadelphia. Yeah. So I was nervous, though. I mean, there's no question about that. But it was a good nervousness. I really was well prepared. I really believe in preparation.
The Dallas Cowboys entered Super Bowl VI intent on proving that they could win the big one. Roger Staubach set out to overcome the Miami defense with a well-balanced game plan. His medium-range passes to Lance Alworth set up the running of Dwayne Thomas, who found plenty of room on the ground.
Staubach looking it over, back to pass, throws one to the end zone, caught by Alworth, touchdown for Dallas! Right in the corner.
Staubach threw for 2 touchdowns and completed 12 of 19 passes as Dallas dominated Miami 24-3. Roger was voted the game's most valuable player.
What did that win do for you and the Dallas Cowboys as a team?
Well, the feeling was just, I don't think you could describe a better feeling, because when you work hard at something and you accomplish the goal, which is to win the biggest game and to play well to do it, it's a feeling that it still stays with me. I still remember that first Super Bowl, and it still brings back great feelings.
How would you describe him?
Coach Landry is tremendous concentration is, I think, an ingredient that can describe him very well. He's very intense. That's what you see this image on the sidelines. He's thinking ahead. He's thinking the next play. He's really into the game, and he just concentrates. Plus, his resiliency is amazing. I mean, whether it's after a bad game coming back the next week or after a rough season, he seems to put things behind him and get on to the job at hand, which is a real tremendous quality. I think you need it as an athlete, too, to kind of learn from the past, but don't let it bother you as you get ready for the future and let it drag you down. And Landry wouldn't allow that to happen. He could just, that's why he's still coaching, because he still can get excited starting a new season, and he concentrates, and he has the ability to continue to bring himself back when things aren't going particularly well.
Staubach, the most valuable man in the Dallas offense, would once again lead his team back to the Super Bowl in 1977. During that season, he tossed 18 touchdown passes and commanded the Cowboys to a 12-4 record.
How did you feel about not calling your own plays?
I had flexibility a lot of times to send Drew Pearson on certain routes, even though I had the primary route on the other side. Because Drew wasn't into the play, if I saw something, I would send him. I had him on a particular route on a blitz so I could hit him. So I had a lot of flexibility to make things happen and change, but I would have much rather have called the game. But it's difficult now because you got so many specialty people coming in and out, and they want to control things from the press box down to the field and know what's going on the field. So the quarterback is not calling the plays.
In 1978, Roger Staubach was amazing. He passed for over 3,000 yards and 25 touchdowns to lead the league. Staubach was 36 years old. He brought Dallas into yet another Super Bowl, but his 3 touchdown passes could not offset the marvelous performance of Terry Bradshaw and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The 1979 season would be Roger's final one in football. In the last game of the regular season, Roger orchestrated one of the most dramatic comebacks of his career against Washington. He brought Dallas from behind not once, but twice, and displayed all the savvy and spirit that made him the greatest clutch quarterback in football. This last-second touchdown pass to Tony Hill gave Dallas a heart-stopping 35-34 win.
Roger, you nearly achieved a perfect career in football. What's the secret to your good fortune?
You have to work hard at whatever you do, and you have to have a commitment. I think for me, beyond this temporal life we're living, I have a strong spiritual commitment, and it keeps life in perspective. And the other thing, you just have to persevere. I've had some very tough happenings in my own family with both my parents, the way I lost my parents, and even though I've had my ups and downs, there's been more good than the rough times. But we've lost some games at Pittsburgh. You know, we've had some tough setbacks. So life is setbacks, but how you handle the setbacks and how you grow from them is a key thing. And I think I've got a lot of perseverance.
Roger the Dodgers Staubach. Following a career that lasted 11 years, he was rated as the #1 quarterback of all time.